Happy Monday. Right, all right.
I love it when the timing works out.
You know what? We didn't hear any of your music.
What's that?
I didn't hear any of your music.
Oh shit! I never shared computer sound.
There
Well,
you
I
go.
was rocking out here by myself, so.
You were. I know it was like crickets when I joined. I'm like, oh, it's off.
Oh no!
I heard you singing.
Well, sometimes that happens.
Well, we can all guess what song it was. We have a little predictability reader going on there today.
There might be some air of consistency in my world.
Right.
Cool. Well, I am so happy that you guys are here to join us on this Monday morning. I hope you all got out and saw the sunshine, not the sunshine, but the moonshine and the stars this morning. They were beautiful. Actually, I came back from my walk and laid on the patio and just looked up and said, wow. And my first thought was, man, I'm insignificant. And then the other thought was, no, I'm part of something really big. Right? Isn't that how we have to choose our thoughts? Am I insignificant or am I part of something really big? Which is a more empowering thought? I think I'm part of something really big. And you guys are part of something really big. And we are preparing to rock 2024, which is going to be amazing. And we are still getting latecomers joining. So I'll admit them all. We'll play the game. Okay. We're getting there, slowly but surely. Sarah, come on in. Joy gets to come in too. Cool. Jeff, what are your thoughts of this weekend?
What are my thoughts of this weekend? What? Give me a little more than that.
Excited or fearful?
Is it water fearful? Which one? Say it again.
Excited or fearful?
Either one. You get to pick.
Exactly.
Either one. There are excited people and there's fearful people, and you get to decide which group you hang around, and you decide which mindset tribe you go around, and you get total determination as to which that is, depending on your mindset, your motivation, skills, and action. Right? Just depends on what we want to do. It's easy to fall into either one. It's way easier to fall into the fear one, by the way, because there's so much trying to pull and push you there. It's unbelievable. Every headline you want to read, people sentiments. I'm just going to wait to buy until rates are down. I was talking to Ina this morning. She talked to people this weekend. We're just going to wait until the rates get lower next year. We want to buy, but just not right now. And it's so easy to push things away. It's just simple. The path of least resistance is to do nothing.
Well, here's what I'm excited about is the people that are saying, I want to wait till later. We get to put them into our database and stay in touch with them. And my prediction, you're going to see 500,000 fewer real estate agents in the market next year. 500,000. We have 1.5 million members of NAR right now.
You know why? Because a lot of people are going to say, okay, well, then I'll stay in touch with you till next year. But the ones like Ina who said, hey, I appreciate that. That's a normal thought process. Let me tell you about what we're doing with some of our clients right now with negotiating rate buy downs and not getting you the low interest rate right now because the sellers need to sell and you're giving them concessions. Oh, I didn't think about it that way. Let me go talk about it. We're going to call you back. Right? That's the pivot. Those are the ones that are going to make it because they're going to steal that future transaction from somebody next year and put it in their bank account right now.
Yeah. And where's that pivot point coming from?
Mindset.
It came from Puma's message on Friday that said, here, buy today at 7.5% for 450, or buy 6 months from now for 500 at 6%, and compete with multiple buyers and have a whole bunch of shit that you can't negotiate.
Yep.
Right. And you can always refinance. So that's the message. I mean, my God, we have so many things we can talk about. It's really cool. Mr. Reed, how are you this morning?
Good. It's a beautiful morning. What's up?
Are you excited and full of energy?
I am alive and full of energy.
Well, that's the hell of a way to start the day. I am too.
Chris and I are working on something really cool for you guys. I gave Craig a little heads up. We're going to tell you more at the sales meeting tomorrow, but talk about taking all of us to some next levels. We're working on something cool. So there's your tease until tomorrow.
We'll let it go. All right. I'm going to do a quick recap because this is a mastermind. And what is a mastermind designed to do? Spark thoughts and get us to take action. Right? So on Friday, and I was a little honestly disappointed that only 34 people showed up for Matthew's message, but I'm going to do with Jeff.
I fucked up.
What's that, Nick?
I didn't realize I was not muted. I said I fucked up that day. Wasn't able to make it.
That's what I thought I heard, so I wanted to make it again because you all fucked up.
Sorry about that.
It's okay, right? All we can do is put you in front of opportunities, and then you can take advantage of them or not, right? So I'm gonna do a 45-second, maybe a little bit longer than that recap. Matthew said there's 3 mistakes that agents are making in the marketplace.
Alrighty, we will talk again soon, and I'll try to get the other one.
Two, there you go. You're prospecting the wrong sources. You are working with the wrong people, and you're believing that grinding is the only way to succeed. Now that's like a total opposite perspective of what most people look at, right? It's not a grind. Our job is to help people, and it's a mindset shift, right? So when we talk about your sphere of influence, we say sphere of influence. Matthew reframed that as your prosperity network. So what if you looked at, admit one more, what if you looked at your sphere of influence as a prosperity network? How could you spend more time with those people? Right. So he said, what we need to do, that's the mistakes we're making. The answer is to create a prosperity network, which is your sphere of influence. Optimize your prosperity network, which, how do we do that? Where's Jimmy? We're going to use Moxie to optimize our prosperity network. And then he said, and this is a big one, and this is the hard one, is you have to increase your risk taking. So what is your risk taking? 3 words. Come on, do you guys know this?
Talk to people.
Talk to people. That's increasing your risk taking, right? It's a little scary. I get it. But when you've done it, it really doesn't hurt, right? So create a prosperity network, optimize your prosperity network, and increase your risk taking, which means talk to people. Right, Sherry?
Yes.
Thank you for having your camera on, by the way. Okay. And then to maximize that thought, he said, the people you know and how they know you. And this dives well beyond my capacity, but I'm trying to dive into it myself. The people you know and how they know you. How do they know Kristen Anatorini?
Her from her Facebook and her TikToks.
Pretty much that's it, right? What message do you stand for? What do you say? And if you're like me, well, I'm different because I know a lot of people, but I don't post socially. But if you are a real estate agent and you're posting content about what you ate for dinner last night, they're going to think of you about as a foodie. Is that a word, a foodie? I think it is. But if you post about relevant content about real estate like Jackie does, and you're constantly posting the content that Puma gives you every morning or we're giving you every day, then you're going to be considered, you'll be known as a real estate expert. Right? So the question is the people you know and how they know you. Right? And then that is maximizing your prosperity network to have that network feed you business. Let's face it. Here's my thing, and I've been doing this with a lot of people lately. there's 100 million internet leads or more, and there's only 4 million home sales. So take 100 million minus 4 million, that's 96 million. So 96 million leads are bullshit out of 100 million. And the 4 million home sales, how many of those are actually from internet leads versus, hey, you really need to talk to Chris Reed. He's a cool dude. He helped me so much. Most real estate is done by personal referral, not by internet leads. So you take the 4.5 million home sales that are going to happen in 2024, and how many of those are going to be personal referrals versus internet leads? Most are going to be personal referrals. So all the world's chasing these internet leads, and every email you get from a consumer, from a prospector, is telling you to buy leads. How many of you get text every day that says, hey, I've got seller leads, will you pay me 20%? Anybody get those? I do. I just reply, stop, all caps, stop. Because I don't want that crap in my inbox anymore. I got enough messages as it goes for the day. All right. So what we want to do is we want to turn your sphere of influence into a prosperity network that knows you as a professional real estate person. And what is it about our organization that helps you be known as a credible real estate person? Are you part of Anywhere? Do you guys realize how powerful Anywhere is? It's Century 21, it's Coldwell Banker, it's ERA, it's Better Homes and Gardens, it's Sotheby's, and a couple other brands that we don't even know about, Corcoran and other shit. Does that give us some clout? Did we just settle a lawsuit for $83 million? Anybody here want to write a check for $83 million? Anybody here have the ability to write a check for $83 million? I don't think any of us do. Anywhere does. And then spin that off to Century 21. Are you part of Century 21, which is the largest brand within that Anywhere network? Mike, you can't do that? Come on, dude. Step up. And then we're part of Beggins Enterprises, which we have our own pedigree, which is pretty damn cool. And then you've got your individual office that you work with within Beggins Enterprises, which shares that pedigree. And then it's you, right? Now you have to sharpen your own pedigree, but we're going to help you do that. So looking at your prosperity network, and I'm just going to go on. If we assume that every agent of ours has 250 people in their prosperity network, then we can assume that every person in that prosperity network has another 250 people in their prosperity network. So the focus from Matthew's talk on Friday was for you to be known as the real estate expert within your prosperity network, and then your prosperity network shares your intelligence with their prosperity network. And it's like that herbal essence shampoo, and they're all washing the hair, and they say, and I'll tell two friends, and they'll tell two friends, and the screen just goes like this, and they'll tell two friends, and they'll tell two friends. So it's about maximizing the effectiveness of your sphere of influence, so you don't have to do the grind of calling for sale by owners and expired listings, which is fine. We want you to do that too. But if we can maximize the effort of your prosperity network, that was kind of the thing he was going for. So if you have 200 people in your network and they've got 250 people in their network, that just compounds exponentially, right? But you've got to be known for what you are, right? And how do you do that? Jeff, you said it, it's social marketing. So the content we're giving you to talk about the insurance crisis in Florida, one of my attorney neighbors called me the other day and says, Craig, my friggin' insurance doubled. And I'm like, dude, if you've watched any of my videos, you'd know that the insurance crisis is real. But he called me and I gave him a resource and she got his insurance down. Right. So where did I rank in his scale? As an aide. It's cool. I'm just reading my notes. What would you have to be known for to make it a no-brainer to make you their go-to person? Right. And how do you get known for that? This is a mastermind. Let's go back to our cause. What are we thinking about? Jeff or Chris, repeat for me. What's our goal? We need 3 things. The intentions to put up.
Done with the clarity, focus, and action.
Yep, pretty much that's it.
You got to get your intentions.
What 3 things will put a big ass smile on your face so you're sitting on New Year's Eve saying, oh my gosh, I made this happen. I have A, B, and C. We can't help you till you do that. Right? And then we take that A, B, and C and say, what cash is it going to require to make that happen? Because fortunately or unfortunately, the cash is what makes things occur.
Yep.
So it's going to cost $25,000. By the way, $25,000 in 3 months is $100,000 a year, which most people don't come close to making. But you can make it in 3 transactions.
Or 1, depending on the transaction.
Or 1, exactly. Clarity, focus, action, Mike, and add accountability to that.
Yep.
That's it.
Let's hear who came a little closer with their journey. Remember, success is doing something, guys. It is talking to somebody somewhere along the way. So we want to hear the successes about what happened, what was working.
And I want to hear the failures too. I tried this and it didn't work. Because I'll Google in a second the definition of a mastermind. And it's sharing what works and what doesn't work. So who did something cool last week that said, holy shit, that was cool. It was hard. I tried it. I didn't like it, but I got into it and it worked. Come on, somebody talk. I'm going to get a pair of pliers on my desk because I got other toys over here. I'm going to pull my teeth out like this. Come on. Who did something last week that was surprisingly better
Victor
than
Victor has his hand raised.
All right, Victor, go, dude. Thank you.
All right. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. So, yes, I did an open house for the first time. And it was terrifying, but it was awesome. I got to meet while I was there. Everything happened. It's an Airbnb property, and the guests didn't leave until too late. So my opening of the open house started while they were still cleaning the place. So it was messy and it was so embarrassing, but I had no control over that. So it started off rough. I decided it was going to be a good thing anyway, and it was great. I met a lot of people. I met a potential buyer that has no representation. So I'm going to be giving him a call after this meeting. I met some of the neighbors as I was walking in and out, from my car to the house and stuff. Like 135-year-old man in a little scooter, and he was amazing. It was so cool. And he was like, "Oh, you look good." So he made me feel better about the whole thing. He's a neighbor that's been around for a while. So it's great. I love it. I'm going to do more of it.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. So you were nervous. Now, for most of you, holding an open house is like not a big deal, right? You show up an hour early, you put the signs out, go boom, boom, put some cookies in the oven, whatever you do. But it was his first open house, and he overcame the fear, and he did it and turned it into a positive experience. So are you afraid about doing another one?
Negative, sir. I'm looking forward to it.
Right? So that's cool. That's positive action in the right direction. Good job.
Well, a little more than that too. He had every rational ability to go home when that started, right?
He had every rational ability not to go out in the first place.
That's right. That's right. And once he was there, that drunk monkey was rampant, right? It was loud, right? Especially when the VRBO guy didn't leave. He said, just go home, dude. Try it next weekend. This isn't right. There's a reason. Let's just get out of here. Pack your shit up. Let's go. There's a Bucks game on. Let's go. Right? Every reason in the world he had to go home. but he didn't. So I think that's success. That's a huge success right there. Because truly, I mean, he could have justified that. And he didn't. And he never knows where those communications may lead. You got to follow up on the lead today.
Yeah, but he turned it into a positive experience too. He met the neighbors. Was that guy really 139 years old?
No. He looked that way. No, but he was an old pastor from Pennsylvania. He told me a little bit of his story, and it's good because I've always been a bit intimidated of going out to people, and because I'm used to whatever the news tells you. So I'm a brown man, and but I'm realizing people are a lot more open and really receptive, regardless of what you look like and what they look like. People are okay with you coming up to them and saying hello and just being nice, showing a smile. It's taking so much from me, but I am getting addicted to this. I'm telling you, what you just said earlier, 500,000 agents are leaving. I smiled when you said that. That's great. I love it.
Well, that's
it's a lot more business for me.
Hold me to that. You're going to see it become true, which means there's a whole lot more business for guys like you who are willing to go out there and talk to strangers and then find out the strangers. They don't care if you're brown or you're black or you're white or you're purple or you're yellow or you're red or whatever color you are. Just put a smile on your face and you've got an attitude that just totally makes you approachable. So embrace that.
Love
Great.
it.
And we have also Joanna raised her hand.
Come on, Joanna, share.
Good morning. How you guys doing this morning?
Hey, good morning.
Excellent.
Back to your social media comment. I hate social media, but I do it, and I do it more in my neighborhood than I do anywhere else. But I will say that somebody posted last week. I was out of town on vacation and was sitting there scrolling through, and somebody had posted that, are you guys sick of getting calls from realtors every single day asking to sell your house? Is this happening to anyone else but us? And a lot of people had already commented and what have you, and I put on there, no, LOL, never actually, and then put a bunch of faces, and then somebody later down the road in the comments, I think there was something like 80 something comments, and around comment number 30, they said, all you have to do to stop those phone calls is to call Joanna and let her sell your house. and so it's a pretty funny thing. And I put on there, what he said. I put that emoji, and like 65 people liked on it. And we're a small community of 800 homes. So I thought it was kind of funny. And I did end up getting one of my listings here in the neighborhood under contract last week while I was gone. And so I was able to put, while most homes in our neighborhood are just sitting, I was able to secure a contract for my seller this weekend ahead of everybody else in the neighborhood. So that was, it is about being recognized and about people understanding right from the get-go what you do and who you are and who to go to in the neighborhood. So I thought it was pretty fun. And it's just a testament of being out there and putting your information, just repeatedly. People just know.
Well, that's the concept, right? What are you known for? And if you're putting out positive confirmations and positive vibes and real estate news and facts and debunking all the other crap, you're going to be known for the truthful, if you will, realtor. And it sounds like you've done that. Good job.
Yeah, it was a fun time. So for sure.
Oh, look at that. It was a fun time, right? Some people will consider this work. Joanna considered this a fun time, right?
Yeah.
Answering to 80 friggin' posts on a social media is not fun to me, right? But you turned it into fun. So good for you. And I see your name on the hot sheet all the time. So you're obviously doing very well.
I have a new listing coming today. If anyone's looking for a villa in Oakstead, it'll be live either later today or tomorrow. 2-bedroom, 2-bath, listed at $340, and it's an FHA loan. So the only thing holding us back from making it live right this moment is I've asked the seller to reach out to her lender to find out if the FHA loan at 2.3 is assumable. So That's what we're working on before it actually, goes live. So
That would be a gift. That
yes.
buy that. That sucker's more valuable than you know.
Just
Yeah.
be
So
just be aware that assumable loans like that, like, are taking longer for the process of an assumption than a purchase. Like most time, not always, but the majority of the ones that I've seen been attached to and helped through and worked through and heard of are taking anywhere from at least 3 months to 6 months for the assumption.
oh,
Oh, really? I
okay.
haven't heard that.
I
I've
hadn't heard that
quite a bit.
either.
Well, think about it. Does that bank really want to keep a 2.6% interest rate in place? Is it really in their best interest to pass this loan on to somebody else and let them pay 2.6% for the next 10, 20, 30 years?
Nope.
Not really. They're going to drag their feet. And that's really what I've heard. I've seen it posted on social media. I've had at least 3 or 4 conversations with people that have been through it, and then a couple investors that have been purchasing. And one of them took 9 months, but most of them, it's been at least 3 months.
Wow. Good to know. Thank you.
So prepare them.
It's not saying that it will. I'm just saying, just be prepared. It is a possibility. So make sure if that seller, you talk to that lender, and if that seller needs to move sooner and can't deal with those delays, it might be something, might be something that needs to be discussed. But absolutely use the 2.6%, 2.2, 2.6, whatever it is. If there's if it's there and it can be assumable, use it as a marketing tactic to get more interest.
Yeah, that was exactly where we were going with it, but that's good to know. I'll definitely see what I can find out.
Good
Cool.
point.
I like it. Who else? Kristen Antorini, you had a big success this weekend. Why don't you share it?
Oh, sorry, I had to unmute. Yes, I finally got my multi-million-dollar buyer under contract for 2.3 million in Apollo Beach.
Now,
Yeah.
Kristen was an agent with us, and then she left us and went to another company, and then she came back to us. Thank you for that.
Thank you. I am so happy to be back.
Oh, that's and
I really
so
am.
she's in Madeira Beach, and she ended up with a prospect for Apollo Beach, which I happen to know a lot about. And we talked about different things. And this buyer had a hang up. He had a 55-foot yacht. He needed a place to hang. So I gave her houses that would accommodate that boat. And what did he end up buying?
He wound up buying a place that cannot accommodate that boat. His wife and I talked him out of bringing that boat here because it's not their main home. So we said, bring a smaller boat that you can go whip around in, because his yacht, he said he's not going to take anywhere because how much it costs in gas. So I said, go explore Florida in your normal people size boat. And so, yeah, he finally found, with it 15 minutes they had before they had to leave for the airport. They literally ran through the house, made the offer on the plane. We were going back and forth while they were flying home.
$2.3 million, Jeff, in Apollo Beach.
I love it.
I mean, 5 years ago, there wasn't a $2 million house in Apollo Beach. And now we're selling $2 million houses like all over the place.
But you helping me to use that as leverage for the seller, I think helped tremendously to get them to knock off that 50,000.
Nice.
Yeah. Because you said there's no other homes that sold in Apollo Beach over 2 million except that one.
Yep. It's true.
So thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Now you got to get through inspections and all that stuff, but it's going to work. Those are
But
beautiful.
it's being sold as is, and they already know. His wife's a realtor in North Carolina, so they already know the inspection is just for their information. They don't plan on doing anything with it.
Tell you what, that sets up a great holiday season for Kristen right there.
Well,
couldn't come at a better
talk about
time.
that for a second, not to be greedy. And what's the cooperating broker commission on that sale?
2%.
Oh, doesn't that make you sick?
Yes.
But 2% of 2.3 million is still $46,000.
Right.
All right. So I just want you guys to just take that in. That's a $46,000 paycheck on one transaction. Don't tell your friends about this, Mike, because they work all year, 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day with a 2-hour commute to make $46,000.
Well, my friends have seen me cry throughout this entire year. So
Right.
You know how bad
Well,
they-
and
they're
to make
coming at a great
that
time.
true, yeah, you've been working them for 8 months.
Exactly. For a
Right.
very long time. It's been grueling.
Yes. So it's really not a 1-day paycheck for $46,000. It's eight months worth of work.
Definitely.
Reminds me of the story, and Jeff and Chris, you'll both remember this. The old man has built these connections, kind of like me. And a young whippersnapper comes up and says, "Hey, I need help. I can't get through to the owner of this building. And I know I've got a buyer for it, but he won't talk to me." And the old man says, "Well, I'll tell you what, I'll make the connection. You give me half of your commission." And the young kid says, "Of course I will. Yes, absolutely. I need the help." So the old man makes one phone call and gets the appointment. And later on, the young kid says, "You know what? All you did was make one phone call. Why should I give you half of my commission?" And he said, "Son, it took me 30 years to build the relationship to make that one phone call be taken." And that's how it works, right? So it's just having that connection to make things happen. Doesn't happen overnight. Everything takes time. And the way you represent yourself makes a big difference. And now with social media, you've got a huge opportunity to demonstrate yourself in that way. And that comes with responsibilities and faults, right? If you show yourself partying and throwing up at a dance club, that's not a good sign for your real estate business. But if you're posting constant content about, the insurance crisis that's going on and giving value to people about the real estate market and keeping the hype out of it, it's a big deal. Come on. All right. Who else? Miguel, I see your name on the screen, no picture, which means you didn't watch my class on what day was when Jessica showed you how to put your photo on. I think that was Thursday. So Kristen, you need to do that. Jessica Roman, you need to do that. Kendra Evans, go back. Angelique's going to send out this morning the in case you missed it email. Watch the class where my daughter Jessica Beggins went through and said how to add your photo so we can all see your photos. But Miguel, you're like constantly on the hot sheet. I'd like to hear from you about what you're doing. Kim Evans, you're totally engaged right now. We have 3 pages of people here. Who else? Sarah McIntyre, you got your photo up. Good for you. Thomas is S21. So thank God, dude, you're a Galaxy user. We're an Android. We got a bond. But you need to put your photo up and change your name from Thomas is S21 plus. Andrea DiFilippo, you should do that too. Caitlin, you should too as an OTL. You should know how to do that. I'm just a pain in the ass, aren't I? Sorry, guys, we're striving for greatness. We can't just be mediocre. Right?
Hey, while you're being a pain in the ass, I could share.
Okay, I knew you would. Thank you, Lauren.
It just finally, it's baby steps. Now, finally, I with the help of WIPA, made a video for my CMAs. So,
good for you.
Yep. Finally, she has all the equipment set up in the Brandon office, and I tried doing it at home, and it's difficult doing this in horizontal mode to get it up to YouTube. I texted Jessica, Puma, and Jimmy, and got 3 different answers on how to do it. So yeah, I got one of those, and yeah, because I tried holding it, and every time I was like looking, I don't even know where to look, and I look like an imbecile. So I'm like, okay, I need help. So WIPA graciously has a a nice contraption with the ring of light, and we pasted we taped the cue cards. Yes, that taped the cue cards around that. So, and just read it. So it looked like I was looking in the camera. So now I'm going to get to it with the CMAs.
Okay, I like the honesty, and I'm going through the same thing. So I've got this stupid octopus thing,
Yeah.
and I shot a picture, I did a video, and I sent it to my daughter Samantha, and she goes, yeah, but the camera's got to be higher. You got to make it look like you're looking at the camera, because I was looking over here reading the screen, and this was over here, and the light wasn't on. Like, oh, fuck it. Right? But it really doesn't matter. The message is what counts. And most of what they're going to shoot for me is my voice saying a message. So the picture doesn't even matter. And then do I shoot from the front camera or the back camera? If I shoot from the front camera, it's a lower quality camera, but I can see what I'm looking at. But if I shoot from the back camera, it's a better quality. Who knows? Just do it. Right? It'll get better in time. I think that's the key, but you did it. And that's the most important thing. All right, give me some more successes. What worked? What didn't work? Jeff, talk about some of the things. I don't want to betray any trust, but we've got some agents that don't have a lot of listings right now. And you right now have a lot of listings that you've made available to the company. And I'm about to bring 80 more on, which is going to benefit the company. And Matthew talked about, oh God, where's that chart? Here it is. Can you see that?
No, yeah. Oh.
It's called benefits to others, right? And we talked about you on that call, because in the constructive quadrant, there are people that create opportunities to benefit others that also benefit themselves, right? And that's where we all strive to want to be a part of. I want to benefit myself and I want to benefit others.
Yep.
So what Jeff has done is he's gone out and created these opportunities. And I'm thinking specifically about Bob and Amber right now, who went out and sold 11 beach makers at an average price of $700,000.
Yep.
So that's, $7.7 million worth of sales that they benefited from because Jeff created the opportunity. And Jeff benefited too, because he got the other $7.5 million worth of sales. Pretty freaking cool. And then there's self-serving people, which don't really fit in with our organization. They want to benefit themselves, but they want to create losses for others. And that's just not a good place to be, because there's no harmony there. And then there's destructive people who are creating losses for others and losses for themselves.
Yeah.
And they generally end up in prison.
Or dead.
Or dead. And then there's martyrs who create benefits for others, but they create losses for themselves. Well, that's like, that's your typical stereotypical high S. I just want to make other people happy, but they don't put their oxygen mask on first. Right. So when you look at those four quadrants, I mean, the ultimate goal is to be in the constructive quadrant where you're creating benefits for yourselves and benefits for others. And that's kind of where we come in as real estate people. And it's really interesting. I watched a video last week about this NAR lawsuit. And it's the stupidest friggin' lawsuit I've ever seen. And they brought in the comments in the YouTube chat, it was saying, these home sellers have made this class action lawsuit and they want to have their commission rebated that they paid to the buyer's agent. And the thing that came out in the comments was they're also going to go buy another house and they're going to use a real estate agent to help them find their new house and not going to pay them a fee. So the whole thing is just a bunch of noise to make a bunch of lawyers really sick, which kind of made me think about that lawsuit as a whole, but that's for another time. So that little quadrant is an interesting concept. So as long as you are doing steps to benefit others and create benefits for yourself, you're doing right. So what steps are we going to take this week to benefit others?
Well, who needs a benefit this week? Let's back it up.
This is the paradigm shift, right? It's not your sphere of influence, right? It's your prosperity network. So what value can you bring to your prosperity network? Let's just look at it that way. And this is the paradigm shift, right? If you do a CMA for your prosperity network and you give them value to let them know what equity they have in their home, And then you talk about, and I feel very strongly about this. I think as a company, we do a really good job of this. You know, think about Frank Dippold helping people become real estate millionaires. How cool is that? If that was your mission, to create real estate millionaires, would that give you a different passion to go out and talk to strangers or maybe people that you do know? Right? It's a mindset shift, and that's what Matthew is all about. Right.
Well, think about this for a second, Greg. Who really needs help right now? And let's think about that for a second. Let's put ourselves in the minds of an expired listing for a second, right? It expired at midnight last night. What's going on inside my mind? Probably. Let's pontificate that for a moment. I want to move, or my house wouldn't have been on the market. I've got something in life that's causing me to go somewhere else. I trusted somebody. I put all my faith in those people. I did everything that I could. Now I'm closer to an event that I really need to get to. And I'm stressed, right? And I'm not trusting. And I'm a little pissed. But what do I need? Sell my house, right? So could you actually bring some guidance, some assistance, some help to somebody who absolutely needs help and can make a decision and will make a decision today or tomorrow? And now let's put our smart hat on. That's where we go. How about, I mean, guys, it's not an easy market right now. For sale by owners, same thing. They want to sell their house. They've already said, I've got a problem. Something's going on in my life. This house isn't needed for me anymore. And they're sitting and they're trying to sell it. They want to get it sold. Now there's objections. They don't think that an agent's valuable, or they would have one right now. So it's a different process. But talk about building trust and going to talk to them and just being there throughout their journey and being there when the time comes. Like, you know what, I need somebody. Who do I trust and know and like? And it's going to be the person that's kind of held their hand while they went through those emotions, right? This is the thought. Who needs help? Who needs help today? That's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that don't have as much money as they used to. The uncertainty is higher than it was before. If you live in Iowa and you own a second or third home down here somewhere, and you're thinking about maybe what should I do to free up a few $100,000? What if you sent a CMA to the absentees with tons of equity to their houses? Right? Might you help them with something they might have going on? So that's the mindset I'm thinking. Like, who can I help today? Who can I help today that will result in transactions to help them quickly and to help me at the same time? Right? That's where you start prioritizing your activities for today. Right there.
I love it. Jessica Roman put her photo on since I made that comment. Isn't that cool? And I'm looking at my screen right now. I see a lot more photos coming up. So
Caitlin did it too. The guilt, I could feel it from across.
Yeah, that's it. I'm sorry to put pressure on you guys. It's getting there. If you don't know how to do it, today around 11 o'clock, there'll be an In Case You Missed It video. And Jessica, my daughter, showed you how to do that. And I'm seeing more pictures. That's progress in the right direction.
What you need to do is upload a video with yourself moving every once in a while. This way we think you're actually watching it.
Exactly. I won't say that. Sorry, I just had a thought. Okay, guys, here's our theory, right? It's 9:13. We want you to set some intentions of what you want to accomplish with yourself, your friends, your family, your church, your whatever it is by the end of the year. And then we want you to assign a monetary dollar to that of how much cash it's going to take to make that happen. And then we want you to figure out, based on our average commission, whatever world you're in. You know, we just saw Kristen's going to make $48,000, $46,000 on one transaction. Most will make a little less than that, but still, it's going to be a sizable amount, right? We're telling you to use about $10,000 as the average check. So how many closings is it going to take to make that happen? To make those three things occur, to put a big ass smile on your face, and then double it. So if it's going to take $30,000 and you make $10,000 a check, that's 3 times 2 is 6. That's how many conversations you need to have a day. And this is not like hard, right? There's not, I can show you my, I'm shit. Yesterday was Sundays, you know, supposed to have a day off, right? I can show you my phone log about how many phone calls I had yesterday. And there's a lot. It just goes, right? That's what happens. So 6 conversations a day in that example is, that's your job, right? And then who's your boss? You are. So are you going to give yourself a paycheck today for making your job come true? Or are you going to fire yourself? Interesting. So do you have your 3 intentions? Did you put a monetary amount to it? Did you double the amount of contacts? And will you make those calls today? All right. Who's going to give me a thumbs up, a high five, or something? Chris, you've been super quiet today. Give us some motivational words from you, because, you know, I'm not as inspirational as you. I'm just the guy that grinds.
Just do it.
Talk to people. 3 words.
Just do it. That's about as motivational as it needs to be right now. Right now, really, the key is taking action. I mean, you see, there's a lot of people that are sitting in fear and they are not doing things. Not only are there agents leaving the business, there's agents that are sitting back and waiting, just like the buyers and sellers are. So there's never been a better time. I say that all the time because there's never been a better time than right now to decide to get up and go to work and decide that you deserve more, decide that you deserve better, decide you're going to do something different, decide that you are going to get all of those things that you've said that you should get, you should do, you should have. Just make a different decision. Different outcomes come from different decisions. You know, I started doing something this morning because I wanted to short circuit my brain a little bit from all of the normal stuff. So I listened to this guy talk, and he said, you want to rewire your brain? Wake up in the morning, brush your teeth with the other hand that you normally don't brush with, stare at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you 10 times, and then sit down and take 25 really deep breaths. You will short circuit your brain and you will literally open up your subconscious mind from the normal habits that you go through. I tried brushing my teeth with my left hand, and now I realize what my 5-year-old, what it's like for him to do anything. Like literally what it's like for them to do anything. We've got all these habits that are stuck in our brain about how we do things. They're so easy. They're so simple. And, you know, we kind of brush these things off. Just do that one thing alone and realize how habitual everything that you do is, even your thought process for the outcomes of things that you want. You make up your mind about a seller, about a buyer before you even talk to them, and you talk yourself out of doing things like that. Just that one simple thing really just kind of made me think. I'm like, man, my 5-year-old goes through this every time he does something because it's his first time doing a lot of things. And so he has a harder life than I have, because I've habituated so many things that I just skate through my day. He has to face new things every single minute throughout the day. And it just really got me thinking. I'm like, holy shit, I'm not challenging myself enough. I need to start doing more new things, different things, to short circuit my brain, to try new things, to get out of my comfort zone and do something different. So I'm just starting to try and challenge myself to do some new things, make new decisions, try new and exciting different things, because the outcome is something else, something new that becomes habituated, like the way I brush my teeth with my right hand.
That's awesome.
I started putting the shower on cold before I get out after listening to you. It's a whole different experience.
Every morning, that's something that I won't put it on hot at all every morning. If I take when I take a shower, it goes straight to cold and I jump in, and yeah, at first it's really cold and then it kind of adjusts to what room temperature is, like 70, 75 degrees, but it's still not hot. So like, that's my shower every morning. Like that's just a habit that I've got into. And, you know, it's something that kind of spikes some different neurons and gets me kind of moving in a different direction. It wakes me up a little bit more. And I don't always want to do it. I'll stand outside the shower for 30 seconds to a minute sometimes and have to do something different because I don't want to get in, because I start to get in my own head about it. And that's when you take a few deep breaths and you make a new decision to say, okay, this is what I'm doing. Just
I
do
like it.
something different.
All right. So the paradigm shifts today are we're going to work toward being constructive, creating benefits for ourselves while creating benefits for others. Right. And that's the paradigm shift, is you have to understand that when you're talking to strangers, giving them information, you're benefiting them. Right. And that's a shift that has to happen. You're not bothering them. It brings me to a story where this is many years ago. Dr. Don Carr was a retired dentist who's now since retired. And Dr. Mel Fader, I forgot what Mel was. I think he was a dentist too. Anyway, they both retired and they ended up in Sun City Center. And Mel Fader, Dr. Mel Fader, said, I just feel like a peddler. Right? What's your mindset like when you feel like a peddler? Are you excited to go talk to people? Not at all. So Dr. Carr took Dr. Fader to lunch, and he said, long story short, you've really offended me. I feel like I'm making a difference in people's lives, like I did when I was a doctor, when I'm helping them with real estate. And you saying you feel like a peddler is offensive to me. And that was a pretty serious conversation for two mature doctors to have to each other. And I fear that maybe sometimes you and us feel like we're doing something to benefit ourselves, but not benefiting others. And I'm here to tell you that if you follow what we teach, you are benefiting others as much as you're benefiting yourselves. And when you understand that, it'll be easier for you to go talk to strangers because you're offering them a benefit. Does that make sense? It's a mindset shift. It's really nothing different in your activities. It's just the way you look at your activities. So you're shifting everything you do. If you're not doing it to benefit others, you're doing it wrong, right? If you're doing a CMA and Moxie for somebody, it's to empower, educate, and encourage them to just that. Whether they take action or not doesn't matter. You did your job. You empowered, you educated, and you encouraged them. You made them aware. And to coin Matthew, awareness gives you flexibility, and flexibility gives you options, and options give you power, right? I'm sitting on a bunch of equity. I can do, wow, I can do a lot with the equity that I have in my house. What am I going to do? I don't know. Jeff screwed my mind up 2 weeks ago. And I'm getting back to the clarity function that I need to be to, right? But that's it. We're giving the gift, and that's it. So every time you have a conversation, if you think about it as giving a gift, then that's where opportunities come. And think about all the cool things that are going on in the marketplace. So I'm reading text. Be the voice of reason for your clients. Yes. National news stories about the housing market and how the American dream has been shattered and unattainable. Yeah, that's a paradigm. That's a belief system you're welcome to have. Yeah. Guys, is home ownership a good thing? Do you believe that in your heart? And spread the word. That's kind of where we're headed today.
Craig?
Jackie.
So I always feel like I talk too much, and I was trying to whatever, but I wanted to share
I love it
something.
because you validate everything we say.
So like
you go do it.
When we started this mastermind forever ago, it seems, I started doing some different things. And so I set a goal for myself to send out since the beginning of October, 10 text messages a day, just saying, hey, it's Jackie. I haven't talked to you for a while. How are you? Blah, blah, blah. Not asking for real estate, not saying anything. And then I'm sending out 5 CMAs a day. And it is now the 3rd. And I've gotten several clients from it. This weekend, had a past client that said, I know we have a ton of equity and you showed us that, and Steve wants to invest, but my daughter wants to buy or rent a house, and now we're gonna take some of our equity and help her buy a house. So instead of renting, because that doesn't make any sense. So that happened on Saturday. And then yesterday, my $1 million buyer flew in for a 6-hour trip to Apollo Beach to see waterfront. And we picked one and we wrote an offer, waiting to hear back from the sellers. So it's working. I'm getting all sorts of feedback from people saying, this is so cool. Thanks for reaching out to me. You know, I was thinking about you, to people that are getting divorced, that, you know, whatever. But my video is, I'm doing a video today on why it's a good time to buy a house. So I'm just doing all sorts of different things to get my name out there. I have over 650 people in my database, so I'm really fortunate for that. But it's working.
Well, no, it's not working. You're working. And you're programmed to accept that it's not instant gratification.
Right.
It's a continual application of, for lack of a better word, pressure, effort.
Right.
It's continuing. You've been doing this. We started this mastermind, guys, in the, oh my gosh, we started in the third quarter of last year. That's how long we've been doing this, right? And many of you have taken actions from that point toward today, and you're doing more now than you were then. So high five, kudos to y'all, right? And it takes time. It's a constant application of effort that leads to results long term, right? There's no instant gratification. We've all learned that over time, right? Constant application of effort. Every day we wake up and we pound the stone, right? Matthew, calls it grinding, but if you change your mindset, it's not grinding. You're really just helping people, right? We're in the constructive quadrant where we're creating benefits for ourselves by creating benefits to others. And I think that's the message I want to leave today with, is let's go create some benefits for others that will in turn create benefits for ourselves. And that means talk to people. Sherry, would you like to add something? You're muted.
Hi, I just, two quick things. One thing is, I joined your brokerage, because I saw Jeff, and this is in 2018, as what I would call from Washington, DC, a rainmaker. I think we're the only brokerage that actually creates rain for our agents. And that's highly unusual. I don't know any other brokerage that has done what Jeff has done on the beaches. And I personally have benefited from everything being done on Madeira Beach. So I wanted to extend a gratitude. Thank you for that opportunity, because a lot of brokers, I don't know of any other broker that actually provides real avenues for their agents to make money. And I'm not just talking about leads or anything else. This is true, what I would call rainmaker. So thank you for that. I do have a question that I wanted to ask, and it may, maybe we don't have time for it, but I'm seriously considering doing the RSP farming product after last week's session. I've used the postcards. Again, thank you, Craig, for paying for some of that for the postcards when you just listed or just sold. I've taken advantage of that. And I was just wondering if anyone out there has started seeing any results from doing the farming package.
I hear lots of positive results from RSP mailings. My mom is doing them. She's getting almost a listing opportunity every time one goes out.
We have a lot of agents doing what you're doing, the just listed and just solds, but there's also quite a few doing the farming. They'll commit to at least 6 months. Sometimes they do every other month for the year, or they'll do just 6 months straight. And typically, they're getting, whenever they go out, like the last one, I just talked with somebody who did it in Mira Bay, and she had 3 people that clicked on their last mailing. So she has 3 emails with people that clicked on the last mailing that went out, that checked out their home value with their contact information to reach out to. Happens a lot. They're getting some decent results. It's just another great avenue of sending it out.
It's just the key is consistency.
That's the big thing. You have to just make sure that you're consistent, make sure you pick an area that you're going to continue to focus on. I would complement that with some type of door hanger, door knock, flyer, something like that. And then also, if you get real strategic and send the RSP mailings out to the entire neighborhood, and then you go and say, I don't mind doing every other month with RSP for, for like a year, 6 months or a year, because then you get strategic and you go after the absentee owners, you go after the high sell scores, you go after all of the other strategic farming methods that you have for that specific farm. So you're having a conversation with them the months that it's not going out. And then you're just consistently doing a door hanger, a flyer, a door knock, a phone call, a text message, an RSP. The absentee owners hear from you. The for sale by owners hear from you. Any new listing hears from you. All of those things that continue to happen, just kind of lock them all together and just be real solid and consistent for 6 months minimum.
Yep.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, I thank you all for tuning in and listening to us because, we actually do make an effort to make this meaningful, and super excited about 2024 with a team like you behind us, because 2024 is going to be brutal for a lot of people, but it's not going to be brutal for us. So cheers. Tune into sales meeting tomorrow at 8:30. We will have a manager meeting at 11 o'clock today to talk about what we're going to do to inspire and educate and encourage you tomorrow. And we're in this together, and we're going to rock and roll. So let's make it happen. Anything else for the greater good before I sign off?
Nope.
All's good. Hasta mañana. Call if you need help with anything, any one of us. Thank you.